The Voidz are a band fronted by Julian Casablancas, who is also known for his work with The Strokes, an indie rock band that have gained massive critical acclaim over the years. But as their career went on, they did definitely see a massive just in quality of music. Most people just did not enjoy their latest material. They went a little bit more electronic based, and it's just not been the same as their first two albums, to be honest. But in 2014, Julian Casablancas created a new band called Julian Casablancas and the Voidz. Put out a really good album called Tyranny, some amazing songs on there, like Human Sadness particularly. Very experimental and strange and off the wall rock music that I really enjoyed. I thought it was some of the coolest music of the year. And now, quite a few years later, we have the follow-up album to that, Virtue, which is as weird as that debut album, pretty much, as kind of off-the-wall, experimental, eccentric as that debut album. It's still got all the qualities there, but I do feel like this one is just a little bit filled with just tracks that didn't really need to be there. Some rinse and repeat ideas on this album, to be honest. Many tracks go for a similar formula to previous tracks on the album. It's not that each track goes into each other and you can't tell the difference. It's just that maybe one track will have an idea, then it'll change, and then the same idea on that other track is on the track after. Like, it gets a little bit tedious, especially considering it's an hour long and 15 tracks. I mean, the last album was a little bit longer than this, but there were 12 tracks, so they expanded some tracks and made them just frantic, chaotic, just weird, off-the-wall, like, extended versions of what they were doing, and it was really cool, whereas this album has, like, 3 or 4 minute track lengths that, I don't know, I just don't feel like they have that much impact on me. We've got a track like Think Before You Drink, which is this ballad. It has a nice little guitar riff, but his voice is just wailing on this song. It's like, and it's just not his style at all. Like, he cannot pull this off, because Julian Casablancas has always been a vocalist that hasn't been particularly strong, which has kind of been always the good part about him. He can kind of sell it even though he isn't a very good singer. But then you have a track like this where he's trying to sing, and it's just like, he should know his strengths, that this is not gonna fit him. Pointlessness is a closing track. It starts off as like an electronic ambient piece, but you know, it's really just average synth pop at the end of the day. Like, by the end of the track, it doesn't really do much in the way of offering something that's unique. Like, I like the ideas that are displayed on this album, but most of it is kind of like repeated on the same album, and like the first time it's been done isn't that exciting anyway, which is weird, because when I first heard this album I was like, wow, this is really cool, but as I've listened to it more and more and more, it's just kind of got a little bit boring. Just listening to some of the tracks like sound similar to the others, and none of them really offering anything exciting. That being said though, I do love some of the tracks on this album. The opening track is just awesome. I think it's got such a well made melody. Even the vocals on this track are so catchy. I think this is a really good song. I do think some of the more experimental moments are really cool. There are some like harsh noise tracks that are really frantic and go just go into sort of like post-hardcore territory at times that I really think are really cool. And I do like that the band are trying new things. And in terms of rock music in 2018, I think this is very creative, honestly. Overall, I do think there are a lot of great tracks on this album, just it gets weighed down by so many random ones that don't feel like they really need to be there. But yeah, if this was cut to like 11 or 12 tracks, maybe I would have thought it was a better album. But for me, I think it's a C+. Don't have a huge amount to say about it, because I just think that the way they started with Tyranny in 2014 and it's 4 years later, I just thought they would have expanded a lot more than they have with their ideas. Doesn't feel like they've progressed in a significant way, in my opinion. I certainly think the album starts off strong with the opening few tracks. It certainly takes a little bit of a dip. Has some scattered tracks across the album that are really good, but overall, yeah, C+ seems fair to me. Let me know your thoughts on this album. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Apologies, this review is quite late. I know it came out a bit of a while ago now, but still, let me know. And yes, so comment below. Have a good day.